have not seen a training program till you've seen Sales Influence. It's different. It's not your basic, take a book off the shelf, throw the program, and just teach it to people. What I show people in the workshop is how to influence people with cutting-edge techniques. Most people talk about how to sell. In fact, when you talk about how to sell, you're going to find three categories: strategy, tactics. Now let me back up. Strategy is what? High level, how we approach a company. Tactic is what? The actual day-to-day tactical planning and execution that we have to do to get the sale. And then we always have to stay positive, so we have to look at the what? The psychological aspect of actually staying positive and selling. What I found out is that 98% of all the books that you'll read at Barnes & Noble or any other bookstore are dedicated to what? How to what? Sell. What really hit me was this fact that nobody's looking at what? How people buy. One of the cornerstones of Sales Influence is giving people real tools that they can use every day. I mean, stuff that once you come to my workshop, when you leave that workshop the very next day, you'll be able to use some of the techniques we show you how to use at the workshop. I want you to imagine that for the first time, behind that door is your customer. Whoever it is you're going to sell, whether you're selling a simple sale or complex sale, doesn't matter. I want you to imagine if you had the opportunity to put a hole in that door to look in to see how I can sell them. Would that be an advantage, yes or no? Once you come to the program, you'll be able to look at certain things, understand the psychology behind them, learn how to integrate it into a sales training program, and when you marry them, I'm telling you right now, the next day you go out there, you're going to be able to use some of these influence techniques. Closing techniques are critical to your success, yes or no? Yes. Right. Now, having a unique selling proposition is effective in selling, yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Last one, if you can't read it, I'll read it for you in the back. Are people skills key to success? Yes or no? Yes. What if I told you that all those three are completely wrong? Are completely wrong. One of the things I teach in the seminar is, for example, closing techniques really don't work. People don't want to be pressured into buying something. They really don't. But yet, most sales programs today, all they teach us how to close, how to close, how to close. A, B, C. Always be closing. How many of us have heard that one, right? Every time I tell them, remember, always be closing, right? The second one is what? A no is not really a no. It's a yes with a time frame, because they'll eventually say yes to me. It's just a matter of what? Time, right? Then they say, closing techniques will help you increase sales. So again, what you then do is you start memorizing all these closing techniques. The assumptive sale, assumptive close. We all know, who knows what an assumptive close is? Let me run it to you. I show you a bunch of stuff, and I show you everything. You say yes, I like. Well, based on that, let's go ahead and get the process started. I just assume that you're going to buy, right? The other one is my favorite, the alternative close. The alternative close is like, based on what I've shown you, would you like it in red or would you like it in blue? Right? I give you a choice. Now, the third one is scarcity, right? Also known as consensus. What we try to do is say, hey, this doesn't appear anywhere else. You might want to buy this when? Now. The average person gets trained on how to close. Goes out there thinking they've just found Shangri-La, the magic bullet, and all of a sudden great things are going to happen. They go out there, they try these old closing techniques. It doesn't work. What happens? They get frustrated. They say to themselves, why isn't this working? I mean, all the sales gurus, experts told me these techniques work. People hate being pressured into buying. And if you try to do it, if you try to be a slick car salesman and do it, people what? And as the sales get more complex, it's a bigger sale, would you agree that these pitches don't work? Because people simply don't want to hear them at that level. Now, you're probably saying, stop, wait a minute, wait a minute. You fast-talking Chicago guy. I once heard that people buy emotionally and then rationalize it later. And I would agree with you if it's a what? A simple impulse sale. But here's one study that I found that was interesting on closing pressure. Small sale, the pressure is positive, the commitment is small, and it's a one-time deal. Does that make sense? In other words, if I'm going to buy a $10 watch, would you agree that's not a real commitment? Because if the watch breaks, who cares, right? So if you want to try to close me on a $10 watch, whatever. Now, a large sale, the pressure is now viewed as what? Negative. So the more money involved, the less what? Closing techniques you should what? Use. What I'm doing is saying sales pressure techniques don't work in certain deals, especially when you're working within a corporation or in what I call a complex sale. A small sale has a short sales cycle. Do you know what I mean by that? That within a week or two, you'll know if you got the deal or not. You'll know whether they're on board or not. And also, the sales happens on one call, but listen, look at the last part. The client is less conscious of value. What does that mean, less conscious of value? In other words, they're not looking at the impact, the full impact. For example, you see that printer? Let's say I want to buy a $100 printer. Would you agree that that's a simple sale? I will go to the store and make a decision to see if I want to buy it. Now you're not going to go back home and form a committee to decide whether you're going to buy this one printer, am I right? It's a simple sale which has a short sales cycle, which means it happens what? Almost immediately. Here's something called a complex sale. It's a longer sales cycle, which means it takes what? More calls to close the deal. And because it takes more calls to close a deal, it's because it's a bigger item. If I'm buying a $500,000 printer, do I now need to form some type of committee within my organization to make that deal happen? Now I got to deal with multiple departments, multiple people, and all kinds of issues within the company. In other words, at that very moment, the buyer is more conscious of price.